Thank you. So, welcome to Langlab. Despite how it may seem, I did not pay Lee to make me the first speaker so that you get to watch our website go by all for the last 20 minutes. We are just really pleased to host this event. It is a great pleasure of ours to be working with IUSB. As Jamie mentioned, I am an alumni. Before I talk about Langlab and what it is, I'm going to tell a little bit about my story in terms of my relationship with IUSB. So I grew up in this area, as many people that go to IUSB do, and I decided very early on that I wanted to get as far away from South Bend as possible. So I went away to school my first year. I found it was a very uncomfortable experience, and so I decided to come back for a semester to IUSB just to take some classes while I figured out where else I wanted to go. I took a class, a 400 level sociology of religion class that semester. About 3 weeks into that class, one of the other students in that class talked to me after class got out. His name is Rami. He's my co-owner here. So that's where we met, in that class, my sophomore year. I really became so in love with IUSB at that point, not because of Rami, but because of the class. Dan Olson, who has moved on to Purdue, is no longer with the sociology department, was just fantastic. I did research for him. I actually TA'd for him. I just found the quality of the teaching of the faculty at IUSB to be so phenomenal and exactly what I had been looking for, and I just didn't know it. I was still so dead set on leaving South Bend. So as soon as I graduated, I packed up the car and moved to North Carolina, where I did my master's at North Carolina State, and enjoyed my time there. We spent 5 or 6 years there. We moved to Chicago, spent 5 or 6 years there, all the while so relieved that I had escaped South Bend. This mentality of mine really started to shift when I realized that if I was going to think in a disparaging way about South Bend, it was because of my own fault. That if people like me don't stick around or leave and come back, if we don't put time and effort and love into this community, then it will be exactly what I was running from. So it was in the core of creating Langlab was really this idea that if I wanted to see the community change, that I had to be that change, as hokey as that sounds. So this is exactly why Langlab is here today. Now, what Langlab does, we are an arts and incubation space. We have incubated a number of businesses. The chocolate that's here, Violet Sky Chocolate. Next to him is Zen Cafe, which is a coffee roaster. They roast their beans directly from the farmers. And they just opened their own cafe here on Sunday, so you can come by between classes, between 10 and 6 any day, and get a cup of coffee. I encourage you to do that. We have Eco Owl Press. We have a number of other businesses that run out of here. And so in that sense, we are really trying to enable not just ourselves and the community, but to enable others in the community as well to add that ethos that's so important to a strong and healthy community. And then, yeah, we also do a lot of theater, concerts, music. We had an opera here, our first opera. A few months ago. It was a phenomenal success. It sold out every night. It was immersive, so it happened in this room. It happened all around. The actors, singers were everywhere. It was amazing. They're planning another opera for December, and I encourage you to check that out. I do just want to conclude in saying that I know that the quality of the faculty at IUSB is so phenomenal from my own experience. And so I feel reticent to give you any advice for being a better professor, but I would encourage you to reach out to your students and encourage them to think about ways in which they can continue to support the South Bend community creatively, think outside the box. This is not the type of community where you can just import ideas. You can, but the idea is to grow those opportunities from the foundation and the very fertile soil that we already have here, and to make it our own. And so that's what we encourage people to do here, and that's what I would encourage you to pass along to your students, is to really enable them to think creatively about ways that they can live and work in their community after they graduate. And that's it.